Russia and Iran deepen defense ties as Trump inauguration looms. Trump has pledged to broker peace in Ukraine and take tougher stance on Tehran. EU foreign policy chief urges bloc members to extend Russia sanctions. What we know on day 1060. Russian President Vladimir Putin and his Iranian counterpart, Masoud Pezeshkian, signed a broad cooperation pact on Friday as their countries deepened their partnership in the face of stinging Western sanctions. Russian and Iranian officials say the Comprehensive Strategic Partnership Treaty covers all areas, from trade and military cooperation to science, education, and culture. It came ahead of Monday's inauguration of President-elect Donald Trump, who has pledged to broker peace in Ukraine and take a tougher stance on Iran, which is grappling with growing economic problems and other challenges, including military setbacks in its sphere of influence across the Middle East. Russia's ties with Iran have grown closer after Putin sent troops into Ukraine in February 2022. Ukraine and the West have accused Tehran of providing Moscow with hundreds of drones for use to attack Ukraine, which Moscow and Tehran have denied. We witness a new chapter of strategic relations, Pezeshkian said. EU Foreign Policy Chief Kaja Kallas said on Friday that there was no reason to drop sanctions against Russia, as Hungary holds up extending the measures pending Donald Trump's return to the White House. We definitely need the sanctions in place. This is our leverage, and it would be very strange to give it away, Kallas told journalists. Things haven't changed. Putin hasn't changed his goals, and nothing has changed on the ground, so there is no basis for lifting the sanctions. The EU has imposed 15 rounds of unprecedented sanctions on Moscow since the Kremlin's 2022 invasion of Ukraine. The next decision on extending the sanctions has to be taken unanimously by the EU's 27 member states by 31st January. Chinese President Xi Jinping has spoken to Donald Trump on the phone in the first direct contact between the two men since 2021, and just days ahead of Trump's inauguration. Trump in the past has praised his relationship with Xi and suggested China could help mediate international crises such as the war in Ukraine. As well as discussing TikTok, trade, fentanyl, and Taiwan, the two leaders exchanged views on the war in Ukraine and the Israel-Hamas war, and agreed to establish a channel of strategic communication, according to the Chinese Foreign Ministry. Keir Starmer has urged world leaders to double down in their efforts to support Ukraine during a visit to Poland, days before Donald Trump's return to the U.S. presidency, risks jeopardizing international solidarity on the issue. Speaking alongside the Polish Prime Minister, Donald Tusk, after the pair discussed a proposed defense-focused treaty, Starmer dodged questions on the possible impact of Trump, but insisted the only way forward was peace on Ukraine's terms. Starmer, who held talks with Volodymyr Zelensky on Thursday during his first official trip to Ukraine since taking office, said defense and security issues had dominated the talks in Warsaw. Outgoing Secretary of State Antony Blinken said he hoped the incoming Trump administration would press forward with key points in President Joe Biden's foreign policy, including on the Middle East and Ukraine. But in an interview with Associated Press on his last workday as America's top diplomat, he expressed concern that the Trump team might abandon all or some of those policies, including on Ukraine. When we came in, we inherited partnerships and alliances that were seriously frayed, he said. So if past is prologue, yes, it would be a concern. Trump has been critical of U.S. military aid to Ukraine and has praised Vladimir Putin. 4 people were killed early on Saturday in the center of Kyiv in a nighttime Russian attack, said Timur Tkachenko, head of the Ukrainian capital's military administration. Tkachenko posted on the Telegram messaging app that the deaths had occurred in the city's Shevchenkivsky district. He said falling debris had also hit the Desnyansky district on the other side of the Dnipro River that runs through the capital,